what is, and all, what are indeed, the pillar and foundation of truth. In the beginning is God, and he is the truth. None can survive without God as the pillar and foundation of everything, and God is love. There is no truth if without love, so also as another pillar and foundation of truth. But all this is nothing, or couldn't exist if there is no mind, as whatever in the mind either be spoken or not as word. For the one of these says, and now the man become like one of us, referring to the mind. Spirit could not be living spirit if without mind, so as mind could never be without spirit, and that is the God that set us the two that made themselves also to becomes three. Now it was written, or was created by word, powers, positions, things, matters, everything. For what the word, mind, declared and permitted will be so. And the words that were spoken were written, and was called Holy Book, then was called Bible. So meaning the religion, or the Church of God, was established through the words of God, which also being written and was called Bible. So meaning everything in the Church of God relies in the words of God, which was also written. So the words of God which was written is the pillar and foundation of truth also. Now why it could not be said that the church is also the pillar and foundation of truth, it is because everything about God is in the church. Just like us what others are arguing, who must be worshipped, the Father or Jesus, but Jesus already says, worship God in me, when he says worship God in spirit and truth, or Jesus as the truth is Jesus, as Jesus said, you cannot have the Father without me, and you can't have me without the Father, for Jesus said the Father and me are one. That is why Jesus said I am the Father himself. When Paul said, the Church of God is the pillar of foundation of truth, he didn't mean that the words of God that was written is not the pillar and foundation of truth also. The fact that begins in the word that has all the words, as Jesus is the word, as Jesus is truth. Nothing can be saved, can survive without the word. So how will it come that the words of God that was written is not the pillar and foundation of truth, as all begins in it, and all were put in the church, that makes the church also as the pillar and foundation of truth? This is what Peter said. Paul has many writings that hard to be understood, that could lead people to destruction. So it's so clear now, the pillar and foundation of truth begins in the words of God that was also written, as was then called Bible. But since everything was put in the Church of God, including God and Jesus, so that is why church is pillar and foundation of truth. Know thee. And there is only one church, and as Jesus said, what God has established nothing can shut. So that just means, there's indeed existing church and existing ministry and existing leaders and existing doctrine. So any other church is fake, as they are desecrating the baptism sacrament, for as Jesus said there must only be one baptism, and must not be repeated, as if anyone commits sin, it is only of confessing it, not by rebaptizing. And Jesus also said, God turn his face away from those he is not pleased with. So that is why God and Jesus teaches about mediators, like as when God told the friends of Job, as he will not listen to them, so he directed them to go to Job that they will be prayed and be forgiven, just like as when God also commanded the Israelites to confess or pray for the sins of their fathers or ancestors. The true and existing Church of God is RCC, cited by Peter and Paul in 1 Peter 2 verse 9, Rome 16 verse 16, Acts 20 verse 28 to 32, and EPHESIANS 4 verse 3, and 8, and 9. From what Jesus had said, the kingdom of God, Judaism, Christianity, or the church will be taken away from Israel, not from Israelites, and be given to those that will bear fruit, as about Matthew 28 verse 17 to 20. You believe that the author of Bible is Jesus, so how could you say, Bible start from the church, if Jesus is the one who established the church, as the church was established because of the words of God that were written also, and you said Jesus founded not a book but a church, and as for you to know, Bible stands for the words of God, which means it doesn't start when was named Bible, as it start when God, or the word start talking to the peoples, and then was written by Abraham, and does rewritten by Moses. As was first called Book of the Law, which also means Book of the Words of God, because every word of God must be followed, so as it is a command or a law. And do you not know that the head of the church is Jesus? And do you not know Jesus and the apostles justifies Jesus' words, John 17 verse 8, 1 Corinthians 15 verse 1 to 5. You don't have the pillar and foundation of truth if you don't have either the Bible or the church. Church could never be without Bible, but Bible or words of God could exist without a church. For before Abraham there are words of God, so there is none church. But because of God's love he established church forever.